Okay, this morning before the rain gets here, I'm going to try just loaded Ardurover 3.3 on the boat. Was using 3.0 before. 3.3 does a lot more things. I'm particularly interested in the smart return to home, where it doesn't just come straight home, but kind of comes back in, I think, the way it went out. This is kind of handy with a boat. So that you don't run into anything. Unlike an aircraft that would just come straight back to where it took off from, this boat should navigate its way back and not run into anything, hopefully. Always a little reluctant to upgrade because I had 3.0 working really well, and now 3.3 has a lot of new parameters that need to be adjusted for the boat to work right, but we're hoping that it somewhat works right from the get-go and doesn't need too much tuning. So I'm going to get going here in a little bit. It looks like I got a couple hours before the rain comes in, and see if I can make any progress and see if it works. The antenna tracker I need, because it's my telemetry setup. It's a pretty long-range setup. It does have the ability to actually follow the boat with these directional antennas. I'm not going to set that up today. I'm just going to take one thing at a time. So we'll see what happens. At the moment, Mission Planner is giving me a fail-safe warning. It's no big deal. It's because my transmitter's not on. If things do go well and I have some time, I'm going to switch over to the joystick. So instead of using your everyday, well, almost everyday RC transmitter, this one has an amplifier on it, but instead of using the RC transmitter, I'll be using a joystick that runs through the computer, that runs through this system, the long-range system, and communicates with a boat like that. Okay, this will be the first attempt at automatic mode, where I will kick it into, it's in auto now, so I'm not steering the boat. So now it should go by A, and then it should go to B, make a turn. Well, it seems to be very smooth. Should go to 12. Should make a right turn now. It's a very wide turn. Now it's overcorrecting, getting back on the cross track. It should. Yeah, I got some tuning issues, big time. Now it's going to make a hard left. And yeah, it's definitely wobbling all over the place. This is why I hate updating. I'm sure this code's a lot better. I just got to get the parameters. You can see the zigzag. It's doing like a big snake thing to get back to where it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go around 3. It'll get there. Just wasn't pretty. Now it's turning to the left. Very wide, very slow. This might be the feed forward parameter. I'm not sure, but now it's gonna now it's gonna do the zigzag thing and go over to number 2. And yeah, steering is extremely slow. Now it's to 2. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to this yellow ball in front of me. But it's not going to be pretty. So when it gets done doing this, it'll stop by the yellow ball. This is definitely no bueno. So I'll have to go into the steering parameters and make some adjustments to the PID control loop. Come on, you can do it. Get to the yellow ball. Boy, that's ugly. That is just ugly. And now it's going to stop, just like it's supposed to. Okay, I just changed the steering feed forward rate from 0.2 to 1. It's a pretty big swing. We'll see what it does. Okay, it's there. Let's see. When it gets to 12, we'll see how it makes the hard right to come back all the way into 3. It's making a much sharper corner now. Let's see, there's that big oversteer still. I think I need a bigger I term. But now it's corrected. This is a huge improvement. Huge improvement over the last run. Now it's locked on though. That is a gigantic difference, just changing the feed forward to 1. I bet if I double the I, the steering I might get much better. I could probably raise up the P term also. Let's see, now it's probably gonna, yep, it's gonna come back in to get its straight line. Now it should probably make a right. And then hopefully it straightens right out and comes into the yellow ball. Much, much better. Well, that was definitely one of the right things to change. Now it's rock solid, just heading straight, and it'll turn off here in about a few feet. Stop there. I've decided to change the P term first. I've left the I the way it is. P is from 0.2 to 0.5. We'll give it another go. It is an auto. Well, it's holding a very good course from waypoint to waypoint. It has no problem at all with just like a 25 or 30 degree course change. That was very smooth. It's still running a very straight course. No zigzagging to get back on the track from waypoint to waypoint. Alright, it's making a hard right. It's turning much sharper than it used to. It still overshoots a little bit. And then it's coming back. It definitely didn't hurt me any, but I'll be real curious when I turn the I-term up. Okay, it's going to 3. It's turning again. It's going to come in a little bit and then turn back out to get back. You know, I only like to change one PID at a time so I can see what happens. So when it comes back in here to the yellow ball, let's see what it does here. Still swinging pretty wide, so it has to come back in to get between 2 and the yellow ball. And now it's running a very straight course once it gets back on the line. I will raise the I term up this time, but I got a feeling I can raise the P a lot more. It's gonna stop. Okay, the I term has now been changed from 0.2 to 0.5. We'll give this a go. I just want to see if it, yeah, see, it's still overshooting. Now it straightens out. It's probably the P term still. It may be the forward feed. This feed forward's never really been described to me exactly what it does. I just know it's supposed to be very useful. But there's no question that each change I make is a little bit better. Okay, actually I changed the steering angle. on this one. There's a P term for the steering angle. It was set at 2.5 as default. I just changed it to 5. Try again. I'm still not getting any zigzagging when it's going straight, so that's a good sign. It definitely didn't hurt me. I have a better idea when it rounds the white ball out there, number 2. It is better, much better. Alright, now this time I will turn up the P from 0.5. I may even try 1. Take another big swing. Okay, I've now changed the steering filter from 10 Hertz to 50 Hertz. See if that does anything. Oh, it's running the speed perfectly. It's set for 1.25 meters a second, and it's right on the money there. I might change the steering rate max of 360 degrees and set it to 0, and or at least either up it or disable it, one or the other. Everything I'm doing has been slowly helping. Just we'll see when it rounds 2. You really get an idea of how it overcorrects initially before it gets back on track. Okay, back to the drawing board. Okay, the steering rate max has been set from 360 to 720, and I've upped the P again from 1 to 1.5. I just broke my rule of changing only one thing at a time. I'm starting to get worried about the weather. And I'm also watching the rudder output while I do this to make sure the rudders aren't very busy. The rudders are getting a little busier, so maybe my P is getting up too high. Maybe I'll go back to the nav-L parameters for a little bit, tweak them a little bit. I'm going to turn the P back down a little bit. I didn't see that helped, and all I can see is that the rudders are busier. Okay, I've moved away from the ATC parameters. This is nav-L parameters. Tweaking a couple of them. I'll tell you in a second once I get it going what I changed. I raised my nav-L1 period from 16 to 25 and the nav-L1 cross-track I from 0.02 to 0.04. That's far worse. I went the wrong direction on the nav-L. I'll have to go back to the, I think it's the nav-L damping. I think I should have gone lower. Oh yeah, that was definitely a mistake. I went the wrong direction. But that definitely seems to have something to do. So I guess I'll take that from, it was 16, I put it to 25. I think I should have gone to like 12 maybe. Okay, so the nav-L started at 16. I put it to 25 and it was horrible. And now it's down to 12. It is smooth going straight. Well, the rudders still aren't overly busy going straight, so it's not trying to wiggle all over. But I am seeing a much sharper turn now that I've changed that damping. So I guess I'll try maybe from 12 down to 10 on the next one. Randy, I'll provide you a .bin log so you can look at it. But it's turning much sharper. Still overshoots on a hard corner. Okay, I've dropped the Navel damping. Down 2 more to 10. And then there's, well, let me get my paperwork, I'll tell you what I did. Now the Navel 1 damping is up to 0.85 from 0.75, and I've dropped the Navel 1 period down to 10. It seems to be getting more and more responsive. This will be the last try. Starting to get a little rain. I just took a big swing at a few ATC parameters, which I'll let you know in a second. Let me see if it does the Watusi. Steering AC max, it went from 180 to 360. Angle P is now up to 7. I had raised it to 5, and then the steering rate forward feed is up to 2 now. Like I said, this will be the last run of the day. I really don't seem to be getting anywhere. I'll know when I round the white ball out there, number 2. That gives you a really good... I'll move the camera a little bit. I mean, it's making nice tight corners for sure, but then it just... See, it handles a left turn really nice. There, 3 to 2. It's about a 90-degree turn. Maybe a little more. It handled that real good. It's this turn that's coming up. It's like 120, 130 degrees probably. See, that's nice. Now if it just makes a, see how it, but then it comes back on track. I'll send you the bins.